Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of my series titled Managing Self, where I get to have I have the opportunity to share with you my challenges, my struggles, my successes, my victories, my losses, just things that I've gone through and that I've had to manage. That has managed myself, dealing with multiple sclerosis for the past 20 years plus. Every day is different. No 2 days are the same. I know my story is not exactly like anybody out there, but what makes it special is that I can share with you, and perhaps my goal is for you to see the similarities of how we are more alike than maybe you realize we are, and that applies to not just with me, but with other people. That's a big, I guess, I would say a factor, or kind of sums my life up, sort of, is that I do believe I can relate to anybody on some level, and oftentimes we kind of fail to see that. You know, people tend to say, well, that's not my case. Well, it's not your case. We all have our own cases, per se, but one thing I've learned over the past 20 years and learned to appreciate is our differences, and that helps me to grow as an individual, to know myself, and to know what I'm made of, what I'm not made of, what I am willing to deal with, and what I'm not equipped to deal with. A lot of self-reflection or self-thinking, asking myself questions is actually become a really important factor, I'd say, again, as far as me managing myself successfully, living with MS. I say successfully because, yes, I have multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed March 11th, 1999. So I have multiple sclerosis. However, I just don't want to live with multiple sclerosis. I want to, as cliche as it may sound, I want to thrive. I want to thrive with whatever I'm dealing with in life. So hopefully you all will see that. That is my MO. If even talking to you today, or any show, is that, yes, I want the best for me as far as the best healthy life. I want to live life to the fullest, no matter what my situation is. And it's not easy, but I know I have to do my part. So hopefully you guys will see that today, with what I talk about, as well as kind of maybe, make that realization in your own lives. Don't think that you, just because you're dealing with something that's tough or not very pleasant at the time, that you can't overcome that, either partially or wholly. But the thing is, you can be the best you that you can be and enjoy life. So as I was thinking about this, I was like, well, what great quote I can kind of start the show off with today. And I was like, well, I was thinking, how about a song? And it's so funny that the song's been in my head several times this week. I said, well, I got my answer. It's I don't know. It's not, well, it's a song. It's a children's song, and I'm sure we all are familiar with. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. And okay, it's like, okay, that's interesting. So I was like, there's got to be more words to that song. So what I do is of course, I Google it. Yes, I look, try to see, okay, what else is there? But actually, those are all the words. Those are all the words that comprise that song. So I was like, really? And I scrolled down, I continued to view more, and that's it. It's just that verse, or what I just sang, but it's repeated 3 times. It's like, okay, that's it? I was like, yeah, that's it. So I was like, okay, that's very interesting that, it's 3 times. I'm like, why, 3 times? Kind of like, so I don't know. I start thinking kind of really out the box or really out there. I'm going, that's all there is. So it's the same words, exact same words, each time. So it must be important. That's usually things in life, when you get something 3 times, it's important. What is it? Baseball. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, you're out. Hey, you can't hit the ball, get out of the bat. The bat, is it the batter's box? Yeah, get out of the batter's box. If you can't hit the ball 3 times, 3 strikes, you're out. I think about law. The 3 strike rule. Committed criminal activity. Oftentimes it's met with get a slap on the wrist the first time, and second time you may have some jail time, or I guess different penalties. The third time is usually 3 strike rule. Now you're spending time in jail. Now you're in the pen, as they say. I was like, wow, that's interesting. The 3 strike time. Three seems to be like, for emphasis. So it's like, okay, maybe that's why. These are words, and that's what we're trying to get to. Just row your boat. So I'm like, I'm visualizing this. I'm like, okay, I've never rowed a boat. I've been in a boat, but I've never rowed a boat. But I'm going, okay, you row your boat, and I hear the word gently. I think that means gently, as far as not rushed, just kind of cruising along more or less, and merrily. I'm interpreting that to mean happy, lighthearted, but it ends with life is but a dream. So to me that indicates, well, life is but a dream. Is that to say that reality isn't what we think it is? Perhaps. Said it 3 times, but that's my interpretation of it. I mean, your interpretation may be differently. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Nonetheless, that's what I thought. So yeah, I'm all in this fascination of 3s, shall I say? Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Said 3 times. That's how it ended each stance or what have you of the song. And I'm like, man, those 3 words are like, that's the stinger. We want to end with that really strongly. Life is but a dream. And I was like, wow, 3 words. And I'm like, Of course, I'm thinking, have MS. But what are we going to talk about during the show? But I was like going, hey, I know 3 words that were stinger to me, which I'm sure were stinger to many of you out there listening. Those 3 words were, you have multiple sclerosis, or you have MS. I'll never forget March 11th, 1999. You. That was direct at me. You, Dawn, you have MS. Have. That means present. It's not you had MS. You had a cold, but no, you have MS. That's present. So this is a phrase directed at me. It was something in the present. And multiple sclerosis. Well, at the time I didn't quite know what that means, but it wasn't. It didn't sound good. I guess maybe it wasn't contextually the delivery. It didn't sound good. You have multiple sclerosis. Man. I was like, oh, okay. Even today, who knows what that means? Yeah, I'm being cynical, but those are 3 words that had an impact on me, and I was thinking about these 3s. Row. They said row 3 times. Why didn't they say row your boat? No, they said 3 times for an impact. That's important. You have multiple sclerosis. That was important. Those 3 words. And in the end, it's like you. You, I guess, was implied in the row. Telling the listener that it's you, but you have multiple sclerosis. That was like at me or to me, directed towards me directly. I go, man, that's interesting. So I'm like looking at all different types of scenarios, going, what else is there like that? And I go, you know what? When track or runners are on a track and they're getting ready to race, they usually line up at their blocks, and the officiator, the judge, what have you, says, ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. He's giving instructions to be ready, make sure you're set and you're prepared to race, start the race. But then that final go, it's instruction. It's a very direct, emphatically given instruction. Go. It's a direct. It's a command. Go. Like wow. Whether it's ready, set, go, or on your marks, get set, go. But ready, set, go. There's your instruction. Like go. Okay, so I'm all into my threes here. Pardon me. And guys, I like fitness. Like to work out, and I tell people sometimes, they say, "Hey, I look good, but I'm really just or for a large part, I consider myself to be primarily a weekend warrior. That is someone who dresses up in all the latest cutesy workout clothes. But I'm not playing tennis. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I just like the clothes to look good. So I think of Nike. I have a lot of Nike apparel that I wear, and I think of their slogan for many years, and that was developed. I'll never forget reading about them in my marketing class in undergrad. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. But there's so much behind that. Just do it. Like they were onto something, apparently, obviously. I mean, look how much we see that just permeate all of our society. Everything with just do it on it. But just do it. Those 3 words, just do it. Again, you implied just means just that, just. Like that's, you can do this, that, and that, but really just, at least do it. You may not do it well, but you're doing it. Do, again, a command or a direction. Do, that means to take action. And it, well, that's a pronoun, and it can be referencing a number of things. But that's when I think I'm like, oh really, just do it. Like just do it. Do what? And I'm supposed to do something. Whether get off my butt and take my medicine, or go to the gym and work out, or make a decision to eat healthier foods and not. Just do it. So it's almost like, come on, who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? You're fooling yourself. Just do it already. So it's interesting. I'm like, oh man, 3 words. It's amazing how we read books, articles, journals, literature, blogs. Everybody wants to write a blog. Everybody listens to them, whether it be a video blog or just what have you. But so much can be conveyed in 3 simple words, which, like I said, row, 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 or a life of a dream, or you have multiple sclerosis. Nike, just do it. And it's like, this is kind of getting creepy, I'm thinking. Ready, set, go. It's a race. I mean, from a kid in elementary gym class to Olympic athletes, those 3 words are powerful. Ready, set, go. And I think of, okay, let's think of leisure things like television, what have you. Television. I'm sure we're all familiar with the I don't know what it's called. The little black and white board the directors say, before they start acting a scene in television or a movie. Lights, camera, action. That means, hey, it's on. Either filming, starting, what have you. But that's, you can kind of loosen up, and the actors and actresses are getting ready to perform. But when the director says lights, camera, action, now it's time to show up. Just show up meaning, hey, get on your game. You got a job. Let's make the movie or a television show, what have you. But it's against the directive right directly to those people to show up for what they're there to do. So for whatever reason, I was caught up on my 3s. 3 word phrases of action, directives, instructions, commands. It's like, wow, 3 words, powerful. I go on and I'm like thinking, these are interesting, but it's kind of like, also, I guess another one is before something's about to happen, we count down. 3, 2, 1. Sometimes we say blast off, sometimes it's just implied, sometimes it just happens. But we know 3, 2, 1, something's about to hit the fan. Something's about to go down. So it's interesting. 3 words. It's like, wow. Like, going, you just can't. I don't know. I guess I'm like equating, like, man, movement. You'd be able to do something. Just do it, or row, or action, or go. These are all things like, oh, okay, seriously, 3 words are so powerful. This is crazy. So of course, I think, well, of my MS, I think, I'm thinking, what other situations can I think of 3 powerful words? We're supposed to do something or take action. And yeah, I thought, duh, my doctor wants to meet with me to discuss my most recent MRI results, which were not as good as I would have liked them to be, but it is what it is. So, I called him, like, going, hey, I don't understand these readings, or can you help me interpret this? And his staff, they informed me that he does want to see me. So the doctor wants me to come in. Dawn, come in. And however you phrase it, I'm sure it was 3 words, and that's what I had to do. So, I'm kind of debating, do I go in? I mean, it is important. So, I can go, well, I already know the results. Why do I have to talk to him? I think I've already made my mind up. I'm going to continue my current disease-modifying drug. I'm like, well, but going back in my mind, going, hey, hello, he is a professional. I know the patient, I'm the only Dawn, but I think it might behoove me to just sit down and discuss with him just what things are, and kind of help him understand my view as far as how I want to, or how I decide to proceed down the line with my current medication, or change, or what have you. So, like I said, these 3 things, like, oh no, it's kind of serious. I kind of can't ignore it. And I go, man, I can't ignore this. I'm like, oh, what else can I ignore? 3 words. And I think, well, this is, of course, it's going to come in there, relationships. So I'm like, oh, people say I love you. I don't say I love you just to everybody. I do love everybody as individuals, but that romantic love and the deeper love, that you give to a spouse, that doesn't come for everybody. So I'm like, for me to hear I love you, when I heard my husband say that, it meant the world to me. Well, it meant that he actually loved me for who I was, what I was not. That's very powerful. I love you. But then I go, I, it's him, he's loving, that's a verb, and me, so he's loving me. But love is more of I think not so much a transitive verb, but an action verb. The action of loving someone. So, I tell you, this my fascination with the words of phrases of 3 has been quite interesting the past week for me. And I'll go ahead and come right. No, I don't want to say come full circle, but I don't know how much time I have. I'm kind of just talking here, but I'm talking about love. I'm like, okay, well, if somebody tells me, I love, if I hear I love you, and tell me that, I'm like, going, me, like, why, and how, So I'm kind of like, I'm gonna not question or doubt it, but I want. You guys know I'm kind of I don't want to say a nerd or anything like that, but I'm years as an auditor, public accounting, so I like corroborating evidence, shall we say. In other words, you can show me better than you can tell me, and that's what I am. That's kind of how I function, and judge things. But so I'm like going, what about you, Dawn? Some situations have come up with the past week or so, and you have multiple sclerosis. Okay, now what do you do with it, Dawn? What do you do with that information? What do you do with it? What do you take a disease-modifying therapy? Do you go holistic solely? Do you do a combination? What do you do with that information? Now what do you do with it? Not only what do you do with it, but why? I want to know why. Why are you doing? What were your decisions based upon? And that requires self-reflection, self-analyzing myself, and I understand that sometimes we don't want to dig deep in ourselves because maybe it's something we want to keep suppressed. Heck, yeah, I remember last month my doctor, I think it was about December the end of 2017, I believe, my doctor asked me, it was just a routine checkup, and he asked me, I had to answer those checklists, any changes in medications, any operations, any symptoms, basically any changes, any falls in the past 6 months. And I was like, ooh, I have to answer yes to that. I don't want to answer yes to that because you know what? That was opening up that it was opening up what I knew was going to come. He's going to ask questions of what happened, why, where, what were you doing. And I didn't want to talk about it because I was embarrassed. I fell at the gym. I fell on a treadmill, not walking on a treadmill. I fell while standing, actually. I fell while standing next to a treadmill. So I fell onto the treadmill. That sounds so ridiculously stupid, but guess what? That's what happened. So I was like, how dumb. But I had to tell him that. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed when the trainers came running over to help me. And, are you okay? Yeah. So I had to discuss this with my doctor, who again, he's a professional. He has the white coat and all that stuff. And he doesn't know me as well as I know me, but he could help me to be a better me. Remember earlier I said I want to thrive with MS or whatever else I'm dealing with? I knew that I had to take advantage of the opportunity to use the resources that I had with someone I trusted. Be my doctor for, at that point, almost 8 or 9 years. And I had to trust him. And not just sit on the information, but trust somebody's here to help me be the better me, to help me live the best life possible. So, I told him, and after reading with therapists and things like that, talk about self-reflection, I learned so much about me. The craziest thing, first of all, I learned how to walk again. Yeah, I knew how to walk. I could walk, but I really learned how to walk, how to do it. I want to say do it like a boss. I learned how to walk like a boss. In other words, I understood, how walking was not just something we do, which, a lot of people just do it. But for me, I know with multiple sclerosis, walking successfully, gracefully, without falling, required a lot of thought. And not only thought, it required that I be rested, not fatigued, not tired. It knew that I had to use muscles that I didn't use because I didn't know that I had to use them there. I was kind of lazy. I just used I did what I was always doing. I used my quad muscles because they're strong, and I didn't use those little muscles, itty bitty muscles like the bottom of my leg, because I was thinking, I wasn't thinking, but I didn't use them. I just did what I was used to doing, and that's why I fell. I kept doing the same thing over and over again without realizing that I had to. MS is, it is a progressive disease, whether we want to admit it or not to. And even though I was stable, things were changing that I had to recognize. So I learned myself that, I had to learn to use other muscles to just walk. And it was like, I saw the light. I was like, kind of silly, but it's true. Then I'm thinking about that. I'm going, okay, really? Me look at myself? That's, but you look so good. Yeah, but you can't walk. Well, you can't walk well. Or you walk well. Yeah, but I'm not walking as well as I could be walking. If I would just think about it and do what I know, I could be walking better. So, like I said, I want to thrive and be the best me that I can be. All that being said, is like I said, the 3 words of just do it. And words like that, it kind of is like going, you know what you know. And I could either sit on the information, just sit on my hands and not do anything, or I could take action and do something about it, lights, camera, action. But then I'm like, everything's not 3 words, I'm all caught up into these phrases of 3. So for whatever reason, I'm all fascinated with phrases of 3s the past week or so. But I realize that, it usually brings something to our attention, to the repetition, to hear something 3 times, not once, for emphasis. I hear that and I'm like going, okay, I'm talking about walking or running. Yeah, walking. And I thought about the movie Forrest Gump. And I'm sure if anyone see it, you remember that phrase, run, Forrest, run. That was encouraging words Forrest was receiving to run from the bullies and any other hardship he had encountered in life. He ran and he ran and he ran. He ran for, I looked it up, I don't remember that much. But he ran for 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. That's quite a bit of time to run. And it reminded me that, well, you know what? I have multiple sclerosis. There's no cure, but I deal with it. I deal with different things in life. Nothing is going to just go away like that. I'm not going to receive instant gratification wholly, because it may, recur again. But that's okay. I understand that I have to stay steadfast on it and do my part when I can. Not sit on my hands. Okay, I gotta run. I gotta close now, but I do hope that you'll join me next week, because I want to continue this discussion here about like phrases that kind of lead us to action, to better ourselves and help manage our MS as well as other things. But it's funny, three-word phrases. But I also noticed some 2-word phrases that are pretty powerful, and those are I do, usually traditionally given after vows are exchanged at a wedding, and also a court of law before testimony is given as well. So it's a very strong word, I do, but even stronger than those 2 words are the simple words of yes and no. That just tells you, some people are like, I promise or I swear I did do this. Yes, a simple yes or no will do, and that's powerful. So it's like less is more. I'm thinking, okay, word to words, less is more. Yes, no, I do, just do it. But I want to talk next week. Next week, I want to talk about kind of figuring out what words work for you to help you take action and do what you need to be doing. And that is hopefully managing yourself with multiple sclerosis and everything else in your life. This has been Dawn Melanie. I do thank you, and I hope you'll join me next week.